Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Michael Lons. I'm the proud principal here at Fraser High School. Thank you for coming in today. I appreciate it. I know parking was a little bit challenging. We were fortunate enough to host the soccer tournament, so that was what was going on. Today we have a wonderful evening planned. We have Rochester College that will be up very shortly just to talk about the college experience in general. The reason why we've asked Rochester College to join us here today is because of our early college program that we have with Rochester College. For those of you that happen to be sophomores or freshman parents, that's something you're going to want to learn a little bit more about, because now at Fraser High School we are offering college credit that can be transferred to a number of universities within the state, or you could continue on with Rochester College if you wanted to. But their job today is to talk about college in general and then bring some examples from what they do. Then we'll have Mr. Commons speak for a little while just about some senior stuff. We'll have Mrs. Colby for a second, and then we'll be turning into our financial aid portion of tonight. So the whole thing, we're thinking about an hour to an hour and a half. If you have to get up at any any time to go and use the restrooms, that's fine. Just feel free to come back when you're done. It's a pretty casual evening. If you have questions, you can hold them until the end for Rochester College and also for the financial aid part, and they'll take questions and answers when they're done with their parts of the presentation. So thank you again for coming tonight. I appreciate you taking the time. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the president of Rochester College, Dr. Rubel Shelley. Dr. Shelley.
Dr. Lons gave me permission to go stand up there, but I'm really not that scared of you. Maybe I don't know you as well as I should, and that would be better. Now, I'd rather be down here in a bit more geographical proximity to you. I want to talk with you about the possibility of early college for your children. Early college programs have become quite popular across the country. The state of Michigan is encouraging people to consider early college programs. You've had an advanced placement program here. Early college is similar but different. With early college, there's not a test at the end that you pay a fee to take, and if you do so well, you can get some college credit for it. An early college program simply creates a partnership between a high school, where typically juniors and seniors are eligible to apply for, meet certain criteria, and they can take courses that will, shall we say, double dip. They'll satisfy the high school requirement in English or history or algebra, whatever subject matter is relevant. But they're actually taking the course not at a high school level, they're taking it at a college level from a credentialed instructor. And the course is being transcribed by that college. And at the end of the course, when you satisfy the demands of the readings, the exams, papers that you may have done, you make an A- on that course and you get your high school credit. You'll also get college credit. 3 hours, perhaps 4 hours, in some cases credit hours, applying toward a college degree. I have a son who has a daughter who's a freshman, and I was telling him about this program, and he said, "Dad, I think I'm going to move to Michigan." College is expensive. And if you've looked ahead and thought about college with your children, what Dr. Lons has done, he's been visionary to help create a situation where the school district pays for a limited amount of coursework that will be taken in the early college program that allows your son or daughter, maybe for some of you even a grandson or a granddaughter, to have a leg up on college. And it's not unusual these days for someone to come to Rochester College and to enroll as a freshman and to bring with him or her 6 hours or 12 hours or 15 hours or 20 hours of college credit. Basically, that means they have 1 semester or 1 year less of college to have to pay for, because a visionary school district, someone where a principal like Dr. Lons has been in place and knows the value of a head start toward college, has created a situation where that many hours have already been taken and paid for within the early college program. We are honored from Rochester College to be one of several colleges and universities in the area working with different school districts. We're working currently with, I suppose, 3 school districts and in conversation with others. But let me tell you just a little bit about, pardon me, I have a frog in my throat. Let me tell you just a little bit about Rochester College, since you may not know anything at all about us, and the kind of experience that your child could have, not by coming to our campus, the expense even of travel, but by taking courses here that we credential and supervise the instruction. Let me introduce Rochester College to you by saying that Rochester College is a private 4-year liberal arts college. I'll unpack those words. We're located in Rochester Hills, Michigan, on an 84-acre campus. You're welcome at any time to come to campus and visit with me or any of the people that you're about to meet, or others of us who work at the college. That we are a liberal arts college means this: we're not a trade school. We don't teach welding or horticulture. We're not a professional school, though we do have a couple of professional schools in our array. We have a school of nursing. And some of you may have children who are interested in going into health care. We have a school of education, for example, that some would consider a professional school. It leads to a particular track. But a liberal arts college is a college that offers a broad range of subject matter: math and history and science and philosophy. We stress things like critical thinking and oral and written communication, leading to degrees that can be taken at Rochester College, or those same hours transferred to the University of Michigan or to Oakland University, which is just around the corner from us and partners with us in a number of ways. These are fully transferable hours. Most liberal arts colleges are relatively small schools, as opposed, say, to a big public school like the University of Michigan or Michigan State, thousands of students. Most liberal arts colleges are about 800 to 2,500 students. We're sort of in the middle of that. We have 1,208 students at Rochester College this fall. Private liberal arts college means that we're not a publicly funded school. We're not funded with taxpayer dollars. Rochester College is a Christian college. We're a non-denominational Christian college. About 30% of our students are Roman Catholic. The majority of our students come from Protestant backgrounds across a wide range: Methodist, Baptist, Nazarene, Church of Christ, Presbyterian, Assemblies of God, Seventh-day Adventists. It's a non-denominational Christian school. You don't have to be a Christian to attend there. We have Muslim students. We have students who are not religious at all, who would tell you that they are atheists or agnostic. I had a wonderful young lady in a class that I taught 3 semesters ago, Native American. I learned a lot about Native American religion and culture from her. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Intelligence plus character is the goal of true education." Most liberal arts colleges are in that dual track of development, and certainly a Christian liberal arts college would be. We believe the subject matter is important: math, history, philosophy. I happen to be a philosopher in my academic discipline. I teach philosophy. I teach ethics. Teach a number of courses in that area. Teach a senior seminar in Plato. Teach logic, courses like that. But most liberal arts colleges emphasize not only the content of the subject matter, but how to integrate those different subject matters, and how to do that, usually in these small, nurturing environments, in a way that personal development is maximized, character is stressed and maximized. I want to say just a word more about our being a Christian college. That refers both to the culture that we sponsor on the campus. It's a culture of mutual respect. We have a conference coming up, for example, March 19th of next year. Mustafa Akyol, who is a Muslim intellectual, will be here to interact with John Siegenthaler, a Roman Catholic intellectual. Both of them are known in journalism. John Siegenthaler was the founding chair of the board, the editorial board of USA Today. Have you ever heard of USA Today? Okay. John happens to be a friend of mine. And John is coming, and he and Mustafa Akyol will talk about the role of a free press in creating responsible societies. Mr. Akyol from Turkey and a Muslim setting, John Siegenthaler from the U.S. and a Christian setting. There will be international interest in that conference. Those are the sorts of things that we think are important for young people to think about and to appreciate as citizens of a country where free press, free association are valued. Private colleges and universities typically cost more than public colleges and universities. That's because the lack of taxpayer funding for private colleges. A private college like ours, one of my jobs as president is I do a lot of fundraising to see to it that we can provide scholarships and discounts to stay competitive, to make it possible for your children to come. With regard to the early college program that's funded through the school district, we've made our costs to the school district competitive with the public colleges because we want to participate. We want to be good citizens in the community. We want to provide opportunity and access to your children. Dr. Lons is trying, by the early college program, to see to it that your children have an opportunity. Nobody's forced, but that your children have the opportunity of sampling the wares, tasting the opportunity of higher education, college education, for 2 or 3 reasons. Number one, to believe they can do it. Some high school students don't attempt college because they think, I can't do college work. Suppose they do some college work in their junior and senior years and find out, I can do college level work. And suppose in doing some of that college level work, they realize that careers and opportunities are open to them that otherwise they might have thought, I'd like to be a lawyer, a doctor, I'd like to go into business, I'd like to be a teacher, but that's for the valedictorian, salutatorian. We'd like for them to have an experience of college on the Fraser High School campus that convinces them they're capable of doing college level work. And number 2, that opens to them the possibility of dreaming. This is a true story. I won't tell you the high school from which the 2 kids came. But 3 semesters deep into an early college program that generated for them actually 60 hours of college credit, which is about half of a college degree. The 2 of them said, before this experience, I was convinced, number 1, I probably wouldn't finish high school. And if I did finish high school, I'd probably be in bad trouble as the alternative to high school. She said, now I'm on my way to being a doctor. When she finished her 60 hours with us, she got a full scholarship to Michigan State University to finish her undergraduate education in biology so that she could qualify for going to medical school. It opens up possibilities. I think here's the last thing I want to say about that. They did give me a script, so I just made a few notes this afternoon of things that I wanted you to hear. I want to tell you about my dad. What in the world does he have to do with early college? Well, he has this to do with early college. On September 30th, I happened to be in Dallas, Texas. I was making 3 presentations that weekend at an education conference. And after the final presentation that I made, a lady came up to me and said, did you happen to grow up in Hardeman County, Tennessee, in or near? I said, well, as a matter of fact, I did. A little burg called Middleton, Tennessee. She said, did you know James Shelley? I said, yes, ma'am, I did. My dad. She started crying. She said, I saw your name as the speaker here, Shelley, and she said, I just pulled in on the off chance. She said, I don't know why I even pulled in, why I bothered. Said, I'm not part of this group. She choked a minute, got her composure, and she said, but maybe I was meant to pull in here because you really are Mr. Shelley's son? I wouldn't have lied about that. I said, yeah. I said, I'm the youngest of his 3 sons and the best looking. Well, I didn't add that, but she said, well, here's why I find that fascinating. My grandmother believed that my mother was smart enough to go to college because she was doing well in high school. But my grandparents were just, her term, dirt farmers. And they were scratching out a living. And my grandmother went to your dad. My dad was a merchant. Ran a cotton gin and a hardware store. Went to your dad and said, Mr. Shelley, I'd give anything if my daughter had a chance to go to college. Here are the kind of grades she makes. Here are the things she's interested in. I think she could be a teacher herself. And your dad said, well, let's see if we can't figure out a way for her to go to college. There was a college about 40 miles from the little burg they were living in. And she told me a story that I didn't know. My dad's dead now. She said, your dad let my grandmother and grandfather have the money for her to go to 2 years of college, and they repaid him with no interest over several years. And back in those days, you could go to a 2-year teacher's normal, they called them. Today we call them a junior college, but it was a teacher's normal. And said, so my mother became a teacher and married my father, who's a teacher. And she said, now I've done graduate work, and this is what I do professionally. She said, it made all the difference in the world that the door of education was opened by my grandmother's realizing that my mother with the opportunity, and now to me, and she said, and you can be sure we're passing it on to our children. That was not as systematic an early college program as Dr. Lons has put together at Fraser. But who knows the difference it will make in the lives of some of your children or your grandchildren if you open the door. Some of you may have gone to college. You may have careers that were dependent on that. You may not have had the opportunity of going to college. Your children, to have that opportunity given them, could make all the difference in the world. And most people, when they talk about the value of a college education, think in terms of dollars. A Georgetown University study released last year said somebody with a college education, college degree, 4-year degree as opposed to a high school education, is going to make $1.3 million on average more over the course of a lifetime than somebody without that college degree. I don't think of the value of a college education in terms of income. I think of it more in terms of quality of life. Somebody being a critical thinker, somebody being able to develop traits that will allow them to step into leadership. Last week, one of the students who came onto our campus, a group will come tomorrow, said, I'm not too sure about this college thing. I'm going to be a welder. I said, that's an honorable profession. Would you like to own the welding company? Well, yeah. I said, well, don't rule college out by saying there's a trade. I said, that's an honorable trade. But you take some business courses here, Oakland, in Michigan, Macomb Community College. You take enough business colleges, you might just create your own company. I think it planted an idea that hadn't been there before. Hope so. We hope we can serve you, and it won't cost you. We'll provide a good education. Your children, you can't force them to do it. Try to force them to do it. They'll do just like I would have with my parents. Say, I don't want any part of that. But if you encourage whatever interest they have in it, it just might be like taking their first lick off a chocolate ice cream cone. They might decide, boy, that's better than anything I've ever known. And it just might open up possibilities for them. We'll be here to present a few more facts to you, and then you can ask questions that are sort of turning around in your mind. If you'll hold them, jot them down, and we'll try to answer all of them before the night's through. I'd like you to meet our Vice Provost at the college, Dr. Katrina Vanderwood. She'll talk to you about some of the academic components.
Thank you, Dr. Shelley. And we're both a little challenged with our voices tonight, so I apologize if mine is a little bit scratchy. I wanted to say, first of all, to the parents that are here, you're really tonight starting the whole process of that gift to your child. Just by coming to college night to learn more about the possibilities and what some of the options are, you're really taking that first step and saying, you know, let's look at this gift of education. Just actually coming and hearing about what the possibilities are is a huge gift to your children and to your family. So thank you for coming tonight, and we're just excited that Dr. Lons invited us to come in from Rochester College and spend some time with you this evening. Just to give you a quick overview, I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes, echoing some of what Dr. Shelley has said, but also sharing some additional information. And then Dr. Beth Van Reenen, who is our Director of Integrated Learning, who works very closely with our early college program, who's also faculty at Rochester College, will talk to you more about, you know, what are some of the differences between high school and college, and what does it take to be successful? And she works very closely, particularly with our first-year students and the success of our first-year students. We're also going to have one of our success stories here tonight, one of our own students, Karen Gomez, and she'll tell you a little bit about what some of her experiences have been at the college. And then we have one of our admissions representatives, Rebecca Parsons, is also here tonight. And again, as Dr. Shelley has said, we'll take some questions on the back end of this. So I know I saw a couple of you out there that were on our campus last week. In fact, it was quite a thrill to actually walk in and be hugged, and that was very nice. Thank you for that. As Dr. Shelley mentioned, we are in partnership, and we're really excited about the partnership with Fraser School District for our early college program, which gives that bit of a step up, so to speak, a head start, if you will, on college for your kids. And it's to no cost to you. Our early college program has piloted this fall with Fraser. Over 100 kids are involved, 11th and 12th graders this year. And they're going to be taking, even though they're in their AP college courses, these kids are actually going to receive college credit because we have come in. Our faculty have been involved with the teachers here at Fraser. And these courses will be taught using our course outline and syllabus at Rochester College, so that this fall they're going to be taking, or for the year actually, both the seniors and the juniors. The juniors will be taking our Composition A course, and the seniors will be taking our Composition B course. And then next year, those juniors will come back and they'll have the opportunity for perhaps another 6 college credits by taking 2 more courses over the course of next year. Now, in reality, what does that mean for these kids and for you as the parents? What it means is, because of this partnership with Fraser High School, you're not paying the cost. One of the things it means is that you're not paying the cost for college credit that these kids will earn and will actually be able to transfer to Rochester College or really any other college. So that's a first step. what does it mean to your kids? It means an opportunity to begin to have some success at the collegiate level, to begin to understand what's expected of them, as Dr. Van Reenen will talk more about in a few minutes. What are the expectations? What's different? What's the difference between what happens in high school with my high school teacher and what happens in college? Here at the high school, Dr. Lons was very committed, as we were committed, to saying, you know, yes, we're going to do these Rochester college courses here, but we're still in the Fraser High School building. Are we giving exactly the right message that we intend to give, and are we creating the environment that we wish to create as closely as we can to being on campus? Dr. Lons has committed a room that is now the Rochester College room, so that when your kids go into that room, they kind of leave high school, and when they walk into that room, they're at college. We're actually outfitting that room and doing some decorating in that room so that it takes on more of a collegiate type of environment. We had roughly 60 kids on campus last Wednesday. We'll have another. Each time I've received an email from Dr. Lons today, the number grew. I think we were up to 74 students that we're going to have on our campus tomorrow from Fraser. And what we're doing is we're giving that orientation to Rochester College on campus to say, this is what Rochester College looks like, in particular, but this is what a college campus is like in general. These are some of the kinds of things that you can expect. As a result, the 60 kids from last week and the roughly 74 that we expect for tomorrow will actually come onto campus. They'll spend some time with some of us. They will hear from some of our professors. They will then go to lunch. They will dine in our dining hall with the rest of our students on campus, with college students. They're then going to go, and some of you in this room may have kids that are a part of that group, so they probably told you that we were going to give them some scary tests, and I can tell you that there are a couple of them here tonight that survived. We want to make sure that we have a successful experience. So when you're going off to college, as you know, the kids are doing the ACT test and other kinds of things. But with early college, we need to make sure that we're placing into the right classes. And so the kids that are coming on, they spend the morning learning more about the college, and then we give them lunch and we give them a tour of campus, and then they go and they sit through a couple of hours of assessment so that we can make absolutely certain that we're providing the right placement into the right courses. Again, I can't underscore enough the importance of the time that you're taking in learning more about Rochester College as a whole. And we're also taking the time to speak in terms of early college tonight, because we know that we have 9th through 12th grade represented here tonight. Early college has begun with 11th and 12th graders, so there's still an opportunity for us to see the rest of your kids at some point if we're not going to see them this year. I want to talk for a couple of minutes here about some of the other programs that we're offering as we're reaching out more and more to the community that we're referring to as our early college community. Getting that step ahead, that first step, so to speak, and a jump start really on college life. We offer in our summers, and we have offered the past 2 years, what we called our Junior Scholars Program. And that's a residential program. That program allows for students to come onto campus, high school students, come onto campus for 1 week. They live on campus for 1 week. They have all of their meals on campus for 1 week. And there's a theme. College credit is realized at the end of this, but there's a theme for that week which allows these students to meet faculty members tying into that theme for the year. This past summer, I think it was called POP. And so the theme was all about pop culture and the media and across disciplines. A number of our faculty members, including Dr. Shelley, were actually the instructors that were a part of that program. Dr. Shelley, as he mentioned earlier, teaches ethics. So we were able to look at, when we think in terms of pop culture, what goes in our media, where are the ethical practices with that? Again, getting these kids to start to think ahead of time critically. Next summer, our theme for our Junior Scholars Program will be, I think it's being called something along the lines of In the Hood. Is that correct, Dr. Van Reenen? And we're talking about neighborhood, and we're talking about global citizenry. And so we'll be taking a look at neighborhoods, our own neighborhoods, close proximity neighborhoods, neighborhoods that are outside of our states and outside of the borders of our own communities and our own nation. What does it mean to be a global citizen? And we're going to approach that again across the disciplines. We are also going to be piloting something new and some other opportunities for college credit. In talking more and more with our early college students, we're finding, students who are interested and families who are interested in starting earlier are also interested in making some plans for what they're going to do. So we're going to be offering this summer two at least. One will be based on those that are interested in medical careers, those who are interested in pursuing, whether it's a career as a physician, a career as a nurse, or other medical occupations. We are going to host an institute, a summer institute that will focus on medical occupations. We're partnering with Crittenden Hospital, so there will be an opportunity to shadow at the Crittenden Hospital campus, physicians, other health professionals. We will also have health professionals involved as well as our own Rochester College faculty on campus for the on-campus component. The other one that we are doing this summer, we realize the love for theater that so many of our high school students have. And again, we will be doing a theater institute that will also allow students to realize college credit. Again, there's that opportunity to spend time on a college campus, spend time relating with others who are interested as well as college professors. Now, I want to back up again with early college and speak in terms of what happens or one of the benefits to participating with early college at Rochester College. So what we are referring to as our partnership scholarship. And so what that means is if your students or your kids participate in our early college program during the school year, and they maintain at least a B average, and they decide to come to Rochester College after graduation, we will then offer them, as long as they continue to maintain the required average, we will offer them a $7,500 a year scholarship to offset the cost of that college education. So again, we are looking at and honoring our partnership with Fraser Schools and looking at how that begins to benefit the families of the Fraser High School students. I'm just trying to think if there had anything else here that I really wanted to share. I am going to welcome Dr. Beth Van Reenen to come up and talk to you a little bit more tonight about college life in general, what some of the expectations are. But again, I just want to close by saying thank you so much for giving us your time. And by giving us your time and being a part of these discussions, you're really starting that process of giving your kids a gift. Thank you.
Hello. I'm so glad to see this great turnout. I think what Dr. Lons and Fraser High School is doing is a great opportunity, but I realize that it starts with student interest and parental support, and I see a lot of it here. So just want you to know that we from Rochester College appreciate that. I have a question for you. How many parents and students here are 12th grade? Well, I guess the parents aren't 12th grade, but you know what I mean. Okay, that's about half at least. 11th grade? Okay, a good showing. And 9th and 10th, we'll do those together. Wow, that's impressive. That's very impressive that you're planning ahead like that. My task is to talk a little bit about preparation for success in college. And the first point I want to make is what you are already doing. So, yeah, you can take a breath and say, oh, good, I'm already doing this. That's preparation. Success in college starts with excellent preparation. What you're doing now, finding out ways to get your students college credit while still in high school, is one thing, but beyond that, it's very important to start looking at specific colleges. research. You need to encourage your students to get on websites, to order information like catalogs from schools, and spend time looking at them. I think maybe it's the fault of football and March Madness. I think in our society we often have the idea that real college is those big schools who have teams that play on national TV. And many people do go to those schools, obviously, and find success. But those schools are not for everybody. I had a student several years ago when I first came to Rochester College, Kelly, and I found out pretty quickly that she transferred from one of the major state universities. She had a full ride there to play volleyball. So I was shocked. She was at Rochester College. And I said, "Why are you here?" She said, "I love it. I love the small campus. I love the attention I get from my teachers. I love these one-on-one conversations. I love the fact that you help me with every draft of my paper," because I teach English too. And I said, "Well, what was wrong with your big school and the free ride?" And she said, "Dr. Van Reenen, the first day I went to biology class, the professor stood up there and he had 400 students. And he said, if any of you students have a question, do not come to me. If your last name starts with A through E, your graduate student is this person. You talk to him. If your last name is F through K, this is your graduate student." And she said that was just not for her. She wanted to go someplace where she knew her professors and vice versa. So you need to figure out what kind of school is best for you. You might want to talk to your friends, talk to your parents. Where do you see me? What kind of school would fit me best? And do the preparation. My biggest tip here is to include school visits. When my younger daughter was trying to find a school, we visited several. One, she was convinced before we got there that this was her school of choice. After an afternoon on campus, she said, "Mom, I just not feeling it." We took her to another school, another large school, a private school. She wasn't feeling that either. Guess where my daughter Ann graduated? She chose Rochester College. So we encourage you to find a fit for you. We know we're not for everybody, but we want to encourage you to do the preparation to find a school that will be a good fit for you. Secondly, I want to stress organization. This is one of the huge differences between college and high school, and I know this because I spent 15 years teaching high school. I taught Advanced Placement English 3 and AP 4. I was teaching high school for 15 years, and I retooled, got a doctorate, and now I've been teaching college for 15 or 16, 17. So I feel like my background helps me a lot to be a point person between Rochester College and Fraser High School. And organization was something that most of my high school students didn't need because the teachers were organized, the guidance counselors were organized, the principal was organized. They had daily announcements. There were notes on the blackboard every day. Remember, test Friday. Remember, next week, paper due. Doesn't happen that way in college. If you're thinking, "Oh, I'm just not an organized person," you need to become an organized person. And one of the differences in college is that you are not babied. You've got to take care of yourself. Every class has a syllabus. This is my syllabus I'm using right now for my Composition B students. And it has every paper due. They get this first day of class, and it tells when every paper is due for the whole semester and instructions about length and sources. Every class meeting is here with the readings due and what homework is due and when the papers are due. I give this to them the first day, and then I hardly mention it. This should be your new BFF. The course syllabus for every course is essential to your success. Another item that I think is essential in organization is some kind of plan book, date book. I know most people prefer non-paper, but I like the old style where you see the whole month at a glance. And successful students take every syllabus from every class and they put the first week of school, everything that's due the whole semester on their calendar. So every time they open their calendar, which should be 17 times daily, they will see what's coming up and be able to plan. My nephew David is a junior now at Georgia Tech University in Atlanta, Georgia, and he told my sister 2 weeks ago, "Mom, I haven't been doing college right." He was heartbroken because he found out he had missed the deadline for a semester abroad in Europe. He had missed the deadline and that was it. It's not like your lovely journalism teacher who stood up here and told you the deadline was how long ago to get your senior picture taken? It was 2 weeks ago, and yet he's telling you it's not too late. Yeah, that's the difference between high school and college. My nephew David missed the deadline for a semester away in Europe. So I said to my sister, "Well, Ann, don't worry, that's probably going to save you lots of money." She said, "No. Actually, they underwrite it, and it would have saved me money if he had gone to Europe." My nephew David also missed a summer internship. He's an engineering major, and an internship will be critical to his success. He missed it. He said, "Well, I had an email about it, but I didn't write it down, and then I couldn't find the email, and then I forgot." Yeah, organization. You need to develop that skill. My third point is discipline. I think Hollywood gives us a really poor impression of what college is. I mean, if you watch movies, what does college seem to consist of? Parties. Does anyone go to class in the movies? Doesn't seem like it. Discipline is going to be very important. And in high school, there is a structure in place. I think the discipline is sort of there for you. You don't have to exercise it. But in college, you need to get up, go to class. You shouldn't skip class. Say the idea you can skip class is a myth. Skipping class is shooting yourself in the foot. You need to be in class. You also need to stay awake in class. You need to try to get to know your teachers, and that's harder in bigger schools, but it can still be done. You should make an effort for that. You need to keep the partying at a minimum. You're not there to party. In fact, my point number 3 is treat college like a job. You're going to be in class 15 or 16 hours a week, and you need to study an additional 2 to 4 hours a week per class. You add that up, that's more than a full-time job. Now, I realize that some of you will also have to have jobs that pay money in college, but you need to treat your studying like a job. I tell my students, if you're not going to class and studying 40 hours a week, you should not expect to be successful. That's what it takes. College is hard, but it's supposed to be. If college were not hard, then everybody would have a college degree, and then what would it be worth? But Fraser High School students have the opportunity to learn how to be successful in college while they're still in a safe, supportive environment here. And you also, obviously, the ones here have very supportive, involved parents, which will help. So just to recap, parents and students, please start working on the preparation. Hone your organization skills and realize that to be successful in college is going to take discipline. Thank you so much for your attention.
All right. Well, so how many of you are kind of excited to learn more about the opportunities that we offer and some of the programs, some of the things that you just saw in front of this video? My name is Karen Gomez, and I am a senior currently at Rochester. I'm going for a bachelor's degree in business administration, and I am pursuing also a minor in accounting. I am here today to kind of give you the student perspective. What are some of the opportunities that are available to me to get involved, to grow, to just experience Rochester from the student level? How many of you, the students that are here, are just kind of excited to move on to college and to just get on to the new experience? Move on from high school? I see some hands up. How many of you are kind of nervous of just, I don't know what college is going to be about, especially after talking about, what it is that college is going to require? You heard that it's going to take a lot of hard work. And I would be lying if I stood up here and said, college is a breeze, like you just get by, continue to just kind of wing it, because unfortunately it is going to take some dedication, some work. But now the good thing about going to college, and for me especially, the good thing that has happened just by going to Rochester is that I have had the opportunity to have the support mainly from my family, but also from great staff, great teachers, great faculty, the people that I actually spoke to even in the first time that I contacted Rochester to just kind of inquire about the opportunities and the programs that they had. I actually was not as lucky as you to have this presentation given to me and just kind of show everything that happened with college. I just kind of started looking on my own and did some research on some colleges, and I came across Rochester College. And many of my friends, asked me, why would you want to go to a private school? Why would wouldn't you want to go perhaps to a bigger school? And the one thing that attracted me about Rochester College is, first of all, many of us look for the main things that are out there, when we're looking for college, the things that, do they have my program? How much is it going to cost me? Am I going to be able to move away from home, or can I still live with my parents? And those things are important as well. But when I came to Rochester, when I started to contact and inquire about Rochester College, the first thing that impressed me about my initial contact was the genuine care from the person that I spoke to, and just their willingness to work with me on not only my program, but also scholarships, but also just the interest. What was I interested in? Was I interested in theater? Was I interested in sports? Was I interested in student government, volunteering? And so they gave me such good attention that I hadn't actually seen at many other places that I have spoken to, that it really intrigued me to just pursue and see, okay, what else is available. And so some of the things that I want to mention today is my first year of college, I was involved in student government. And I didn't do anything like that in high school. And I thought, well, it might be a good opportunity to get involved. Student government is a great way to get involved for a lot of the events that happen on campus. As you saw, there are many opportunities for volunteering. There are many opportunities for events. And one of the things that we have been able to do as part of student government was go down to there's God's Helping Hands. It's a place in Rochester. We help out sorting clothes. We volunteer. We also put a lot of the fun events for students on campus. So we plan things like Halloween parties coming up, or we plan things like movie nights, free movie nights, or free bowling for the first 25 students that sign up. So there are a lot of opportunities for you to get involved. And college is it's obviously the main reason that you're going there is to get a degree and so that you can be successful with the rest of your life. But there are so many opportunities for you to get involved outside of the classroom that make your college experience even more richer and just fulfilling. It helps you just experience and grow not only academically, because you're going to be doing that in the classroom, but it also helps you to just grow as a person. Spiritually, at Rochester College, there are many opportunities. I have personally loved the fact that I get to 2 times a week we have chapel, and that's about a half hour. We have great speakers, and they all speak about different things, just with relating to our everyday life. You know, what do college students go through? What do young adults go through? Because the one thing that you'll start to notice is as you move from high school to college, you are not going to be called like teenagers anymore. You're kind of starting to, now you're a young adult. So you're not quite an adult yet. You know, you're not getting all the adult treatment that perhaps some of us would like, but you're starting to move on to that point. And so for students to get involved and to just really start looking for opportunities that will help them grow, not only depending on in their areas professionally, academically, but also just as a person, as an adult. Other than being involved with student government, I have also had the blessing to have obtained a job on campus. Currently, I work in academic services. And the nice thing about that is that was actually something that when I first spoke to the admissions person at Rochester, I said, the one thing that perhaps for me is I'm not sure that I'll be able to, make the commitment to go here is because it is a private college and it is a little bit pricier. And so we went over through the options. I was able to obtain some scholarships because of my GPA, and they have on-campus jobs. And so right now I'm working in the academic services office. The experience has been great because they actually don't treat me more like a student worker, but they treat me like I'm an employee. And so I'm expected, to give my job, to give my performance, to perform well, and it teaches you really how to also get prepared for your first job, perhaps professionally, perhaps not your first job working at Kroger, or perhaps not your first job working, for your neighborhood, or babysitting. That was my first job, babysitting, but it also really teaches you just how to start making those first steps to transition to now the life of an adult and the professional life and all those things that are going to come with college. So I've been really just blessed, I would say, to have that opportunity. Professionally, I have also been very blessed to have an opportunity because the college career services office, they were able to help me find an internship this past summer that I started. And the great thing about that is I knew I needed to get started with my internships. And now I am a senior this year. I actually should have gotten started with my internship process a year, perhaps in my summer going into my junior year, but I didn't. And so I started looking for them now, and they helped me. They were actually able to help me find an internship with a company that the college has partnered with. So they have connections, and I'm interning with human resources. And the great part for me that has been just those doors that have been opened is that the company that I'm interning for right now, they have made me a full-time job offer to work with them after I graduate. So they're willing to work with me right now as a part-time job so that I can finish school, get my degree, and go work with them full-time. So the opportunities that you have as a college student to just open doors for yourself are great. There are so many things that you can do to get involved, not only to just have fun, but to grow in your life as a person, and to also look for opportunities for your future, for your career, for your profession, your program, what it is that you're going to be doing once college is over. Just like everything in life, it kind of comes to an end. So now that you're ending high school, you're going to move on to college, you're going to have a great experience. Looking back, I am starting to get not a nervous or just a period of where I'm realizing that I'm more becoming like an adult, and now I'm gonna stop being a college student, and I'm really just cherishing this last year of college. And so perhaps you may be thinking about that with high school, or you may be ready to move on to college, but there are so many experiences that you can have at college, and that Rochester in particular has to offer for you for any specific area. So that's just kind of been my experience as a student. Right now I'm going to open up the floor for questions from an admissions person from our office. Her name is Rebecca. And if you have any questions about any programs or any other things that you saw in the video, you can also go ahead and talk to Rebecca about that. Thank you very much.
Hello, hello, hello. I know you have had a lot of information come your way thus far, so I'm going to keep my comments relatively brief. But my name is Rebecca Parsons. I work in the admissions department at Rochester College, and I'm going to talk to you just a little bit about the application process, the admissions process, and things that apply to both Rochester specifically and in general. As some of the previous people have mentioned, Rochester College is a great school. It is not for everybody. We do know that not everybody here will wind up at Rochester, but there are certain truths about the admissions process that will help all of you. So I'm going to start by asking a quick question. How many of the students in here have already taken the ACT? A show of hands. Okay. Good number so far. Keep your hands up. Of those of you who have taken the ACT, how many of you have taken it more than once? Okay, what I'm going to do is share with you my story and explain why taking the ACT at least twice is so critical to the college process. When I was a high school senior, I kind of was in a similar boat to most of you who are here right now. I actually grew up in Clinton Township. I went to Lance Cruz High School. So just kind of like you guys, I was a typical suburban kid in Macomb County going to a public high school. In fact, I actually do remember playing Fraser High School in our sports. I remember losing a lot of football games to Fraser High School when Jim Sorgi was the quarterback here, but he went on to play in the NFL, so I guess we'll let that one slide. But I remember thinking, as at the end of my junior year, the whole junior class got together on a Saturday. We took the ACT, and then we went about our summer business. The school year was basically over, and somewhere along mid-July, maybe late July, early August, I got something in the mail that said, "Oh, here's your score." And I looked at it, and I saw 28, and I thought, that's a pretty decent score. I don't think I need to worry about this again. So tossed that in the side and went about, applying to schools my senior year. And it seemed like a pretty decent score. And nobody had ever expressed to me that not only could you take the ACT more than once, but in fact, if you did, you had a really good chance of your score going up by anywhere from 1 to 4 points at a time. So my senior year came and went, and I did actually attend Rochester as well. I graduated in 2006. So my senior year came and went, and I had originally planned to go off to Bowling Green State University in Ohio. I had sent in all my paperwork. I'd been accepted. I'd got my scholarship stuff, sent in my room reservation form. I was good to go. Probably about the end of March, early April of my senior year, some things changed in my life, and I decided to look a little closer to home. So as I got around to getting the paperwork done at Rochester and figuring out that this was going to be the school I was at, I finally sat down and looked at my scholarship information. And the things were a little bit different back then than they are now. But I had a 28 ACT and a 3.7 GPA, pretty decent, got me a good scholarship package. And as I was combing through the fine print, I realized that if I had earned a 29 on the ACT and my composite score, I would have been eligible for the full tuition scholarship. At the time that I realized that, the deadline to take the last ACT for that year had passed. So I missed out. Even though I got a great scholarship package, I missed out on even more money that was available to me by 1 point. I had the right GPA, my ACT score was off by 1. And the reason that I tell this story to anyone who will listen is because right now you have the opportunity to take the ACT more than once. There's another test date in December. There are 3 more in the spring, I believe 1 in February, 1 in April, and 1 in June. And my point is, no matter which college you go to, the higher your ACT score is, the better your scholarship package will be. And, college is getting expensive. College is more expensive now than it was when I was in school. And so one of the best ways you can save yourself student loan payments in the future, you can save yourself balances that you'll have to pay as you're in school, is to take advantage of that ACT score. So like I said, if you have taken the ACT, great. If you have not taken it twice, you might as well. And the reason is most colleges, in fact all colleges, are only going to take your highest score. So even if you have a bad test date, let's say you get the same score or you get even a bit of a lower score, doesn't matter. We're going to take the highest one. So it can't hurt you, it can only help you. And I stress this because of the scholarships that are available. For instance, with Rochester College, starting at a 21 on the ACT, we start giving away academic scholarship. And by increments, by score, as they go up, you can go anywhere from $2,000 a year in scholarship to 100% of tuition in scholarship. So it really does behoove you to take it more than once. So hopefully all of you who have, if you haven't taken it yet, the freshmen and the sophomores in here, the juniors, the state of Michigan will require you at some point, because you're in a public public high school to take it. Typically, I believe it's at the end of the junior year. So take advantage of that. If you've got the opportunity to take it now, a lot of the private schools will have their students, their juniors, take it earlier in the year, and it gives them a little bit of an advantage as well. If you want to take it before then, by all means, go for it. Because, like I said, the higher the score, and this is true at all universities, the higher the score, the more scholarship you have available, and it can't hurt you to take it as many times as possible. So that being said, moving on from ACT score, another big key factor in the admissions process at any school you go to is your GPA. Some of you may be thinking, especially the freshmen and sophomores in here, does it really matter what my grades are like right now? Do I really need to care? And the answer to that is a resounding yes. And here's why. ACT score will get you a great scholarship. ACT score accompanied with a high GPA will get you an even better scholarship. For instance, a 21 on the ACT at Rochester College immediately qualifies you for $2,000 a year in scholarship money. A 21 on the ACT with a 3.2 GPA qualifies you for $4,000 in scholarship money. So you've doubled the amount of money in a year that you can get. And scholarship money is free and clear. You're never going to have to pay that back. That's not a student loan. That's just money that comes off of your account that you will never have to pay back, simply for putting in the time to get good grades in high school and to take the ACT more than once and improve your score. Some of the opportunities that we have at Rochester College are very competitive. For instance, a 30 on the ACT along with a 3.5 GPA or higher will get you 100% of tuition scholarship along with the cost of room at the school. So it is a very, very great way to earn yourself, I guess, I don't want to use the term free money, but to earn yourself a very inexpensive education at a time when education across the board is a very serious investment. One of the things that I did want to specify, and I know that Dr. Vanderwood mentioned it already, but for those of you who have the opportunity to take advantage of the early college program here, by all means do it, because you have an opportunity to earn a $7,500 scholarship to Rochester College simply by taking the classes here, getting a B or higher, and then coming to Rochester when you graduate. Comparatively speaking, someone who comes into Rochester with a 27 ACT and a 3.4 GPA is also eligible for $7,500 in scholarship. It's a very significant scholarship, and it is a way that gives you, not only do you have that extra credit for taking advantage of the program, but you've got a scholarship that's comparable to some of the more stringent academic scholarships that are available. And again, that's specific to Fraser High School, so that's an opportunity that's afforded to you that other students out there don't have. In terms of the admissions process in general, what you want to do with any school, probably about the beginning of your senior year, you can certainly start this near the end of your junior year. The three big steps that you're going to be looking at are doing the application. A lot of schools have that option available online now. We sure do. You can do it for free online. Great way to do it. You're going to get in the habit of requesting your transcripts to be sent out. Any high school or any college that you apply to is going to want a copy of your transcripts. That's going to tell them your GPA, and in some cases it may have your ACT score on there. But the two main components for any admissions process are going to be your ACT and your GPA. So not only is it good for getting you scholarship money, but it's also very important in terms of getting you accepted into the school overall. With Rochester, we require an 18 on the ACT and a 2.25 GPA for unconditional acceptance. Then starting at a 21, we start giving away academic scholarships. So those are a little bit of barometers to set for yourself. Every school is different, but the fact of the matter is the higher the ACT score, the higher the GPA. Your scholarships will be higher at whatever school you do decide to go to. We certainly hope you come to Rochester. I graduated from there and I enjoyed every second. So I could go on just the same way that Karen did about all the experiences I had there. But that being said, the application process seems a little bit overwhelming, I'm sure, right now. But in general, you want to focus on the ACT or the ACT score and the GPA. Those are going to be big key components in wherever you go. I will be available later this evening if you have questions specifically about Rochester scholarships and application process. And then I'm going to right now open it up, and I'll have the rest of our staff back up here if you have questions about anything else that we've discussed. And hopefully we've covered enough here that you've got an idea, you're feeling a little bit a little bit more ready to tackle the college monster than you were before you came in. But I'll just invite everyone to come back up, and we'll start, feel free to raise a hand, and we'll just open it up for any questions you might have and hopefully give you any answers that you're looking for. We've got one over here.
Yes.
The question was, what is the student-to-faculty ratio?
Do you know the number?
Well, I know for the average class size is 15 students. So some of our classes obviously are bigger, some of our classes are smaller, but one of the great things about Rochester is that one-on-one experience with professors that is available to you.
Say is the general ratio.
20 to 1 is the general ratio. In the back? Go ahead. I'm sorry? Oh, special ed services. I'm gonna pass this to
Katrina?
We do offer some tutorial services and special assistance through our Academic Center for Excellence, which is what we call our ACE Lab. So we do employ a team of tutorial staff, and we do also offer some level of accommodations. If someone needs more time taking tests, we have a testing and assessment center that will then set up and provide additional opportunities or additional time for test taking if necessary. Others? Over here?
What sort of scholarships after the freshman year? These are recurring scholarships. You maintain this B average, you have it the next semester, the next semester, the next semester. The offer for Fraser High School students is not an offer that's made to every high school group. It's an offer that we've made because of just the relationship that Dr. Lyons and I established when we were working this out. He did not ask for that. We offered that. And a student up to 5 years, the average length of time that a student spends in college has somehow stretched from 4 to 5. So we've actually built this scholarship into it that if a student comes from Fraser with a B average in whatever one or more courses they've taken, for as long as they are there through 5 full years, if it takes them that to finish, the $7,500 scholarship is not just for the freshman year. It's as long as they maintain that B average.
And then one thing that I did want to make clear is that $7,500 is available to the Fraser students who meet those requirements. However, if your own academics qualified you for more, for instance, the trustee scholar, like I talked about with the highest one we give with the tuition, you would not be limited to the Fraser or the $7,500 Fraser scholarship. You would be eligible for that. The one that comes through the early college program, is just a leg up for students who are coming in. We want to honor the commitment they've made to college early on. But you're not limited to that if you have earned a better one. And that's true of all of our academic scholarships. They are renewable for up to 5 years, so long as the proper GPA is maintained while you're in college. And that is, not all colleges do that. They will. Some offer it only for 4 years. So if you're looking at a 5-year program, you may find yourself paying out of pocket in that 5th year. Rochester won't do that. So.
Just another comment here with respect to early college. We're talking a lot about it, and we're talking about some of the amenities. Dr. Lyons had shared with me that a few parents had indicated of the 11th and 12th graders, well, I don't know if we're going to do the early college or not. And again, we just want to encourage you to reconsider. We will have students back on campus tomorrow, but it is not too late for the 11th and 12th graders to still say, yes, we are interested. It's not too late tomorrow to say, we thought we weren't interested, but we changed our minds. We want to do this. So if by any chance any of you out there had thought, I'm not so sure about this, we also wanted tonight to make sure that you knew some of the benefits of early college. Yes. This year, because this is our pilot year, the seniors will actually realize 3 credits this year. The juniors will realize the credits that they are offered this year, and then next year we will most likely do 2 courses, 3 credits each. So those who are juniors have the ability to earn most likely up to 9 credits. We're not limiting the credits other than the fact that we have a limited amount of time. If they are sophomores this year, they have not yet participated in the program. They would participate next year. If we hold the program exactly as we are this year, it would mean that they would have the opportunity. This year was our pilot year, so we decided to hold the courses over the whole year instead of by semester. If we were using the exact same model, those juniors next year would have the opportunity for the 3 credit hours for next year, and then 2 additional classes in their senior year. And that is not inclusive, though, of whether or not they might decide to come onto campus in the summer. They would have the opportunity to do the summer program this summer and the summer program the following summer. Now, I do want to be clear, Dr. Lons has been very generous, but he has not offered to subsidize and pay for the summer program. But I also want to share with you that when we look at the cost of a college credit at Rochester College and the cost of our summer program at Rochester College for these early college students, you will essentially pay for the entire program less than what you would pay for 1 credit hour. So there's that much of a break to the parents for the kids who are being involved from an early college perspective, even in the summer institutes. And there's still that option for the college credits. Yes.
Yes. The term you're using, Gen Ed courses, the courses that we're offering in this early college program are not specialty courses, esoteric courses. They're math and they're English and they're history, general education courses. And if that student decides not to go to Rochester College, they're going to go to Oakland University. They're transcripted. They'll transfer to Oakland. They'll transfer to University of Michigan. We are accredited with the same body that accredits Oakland, Michigan State, Notre Dame. We accept their credits. They accept our credits because we both answer to the same standards out of the North Central Association of the Higher Learning Commission. Fully transferable. Yeah. Yes. 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 No. Dr. Lons wants to respect your time, and so do we. So you want the mic to close off? We will be staying around if you have those specific questions. Seek us out. We'll be here as long as you have a question or until we run out of answers. Thank you for letting us come.
Can we put our hands together, please, for Rochester College? Thank you. Thank you very much.